All right, that was President Trump earlier today, and he was blasting what he calls Robert Mueller's witch hunt, voicing concern that he wouldn't be treated fairly if he sat down for an interview with Mueller's team. Joining us now, former White House press secretary, Fox News contributor Ari Fleischer, and senior fellow at the London Center for Policy Research, Monica Crowley. Let's just break this down, Ari, this way. The president's right. Well, you know, Mueller worked for a Democrat. Everyone says he's a Republican. You have all Democratic donors, Obama, Clinton, the DNC. Then you have Andrew Weissman, his atrocious ethics, twice withholding exculpatory evidence in cases, overturned 9-0 in the Supreme Court, overturned in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals after sending innocent men to jail for a year. Then you got Rod Rosenstein, after the July 26 raid of Paul Manafort, giving permission August 2nd to go into this new area of investigation, not in the original mandate. Now, I don't care if you're a liberal, a conservative, Republican, or Democrat. That stacks up as unfair, and the judge's words today stung because, as Ben Franklin said, the sting in any rebuke is a truth.
Yeah, the judge's words today sure did sting. That was a remarkable statement the judge made. We'll see what his ruling is. That's the most important thing. We don't know that yet. But a couple things, Sean. Number one, Bob Mueller also worked 7 years for George Bush. He worked 5 years as the FBI director under Barack Obama.
Served his country. That's all true.
As the FBI director.
But he appointed Andrew Weissman.
Right. And this is where I think he's vulnerable. Look, the reason I know him so well is because I worked with him in the Bush administration, principally after September 11th, and I have a lot of admiration and respect for him. And he earned it because he is that type of leader. But he erred. He erred in his hiring. He should have been wiser than to make himself so vulnerable to hiring a staff that was so Democratic donors. And the one thing you left out about top prosecutor Andrew Weissman is he attended Hillary's victory party in New York City. Now, the only reason you go to a victory party when you're a government official is you want to get a higher ranking job, or if you're not a government official, you want a job, or you believe their ideology. He shouldn't have gone. It makes him vulnerable to the charge of bias, not to mention the record you just walked through. So, Sean, my bottom line still remains, let Mueller finish. I can't imagine any sweeter vindication for Donald Trump than to Mueller find there's no grounds for collusion.
Would you ever want to be investigated by Andrew Weissman after tens of thousands of Americans lost their jobs at Anderson Accounting? Would you want to work for a guy that was excoriated twice on withholding exculpatory evidence, overturned 9-0 in the Supreme Court, sends people to jail, overturned by Fifth Circuit? Would you want them working on a case involving you? I wouldn't.
Yeah, and this is exactly why I'm sure Donald Trump's lawyers, despite what the president said today, don't want him to go in, and Donald Trump won't go in. He's not going to be questioned by it, and I can't imagine that will ever happen for just the reason you said, Sean. Even if you know you never did anything wrong, government overreach can always be a problem, particularly in the hands of prosecutors. And so that's why I still think at the end of the day, if there's no collusion, Mueller's got no collusion. And we would know if there was collusion. Nobody has seen it yet.
Beyond that.
Leaked.
And they seem to be post-dating what the new mandate is. Monica Crowley, this is, as the judge said, they don't care about Manafort from 13 years ago. This is now, they want to take down the president. And if whatever they have to do to get him, they're going to do.
Sean, none of this is fair. And let's just dispense with the whole fiction of this entire premise. Just as the phony dossier was used to generate the abusive FISA warrants, the entire phony Russia collusion lie was always a Trojan horse issue to generate an abusive special counsel authorization, open-ended in time and scope, to try to undermine the candidate and then destroy the president. And that's why you have investigation after investigation into Paul Manafort, obstruction, Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels. Look, when all of this stuff falls apart, they will try to find something else, because this is all about something much bigger. All of this is a pretext to try to destroy Donald Trump. Why? Because he is an existential threat to the guardians of the elite ruling class. And if Trump succeeds, it is over for them. That's why they are using every tool, legal and illegal, ethical and unethical, in order to try to take him out.
Very scary times. And what the judge said today about the Americans don't want unfettered power in any one branch, this is a game-changing day. I would say, mark my words. Thank you both. When we come back, you'll